Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Kollin at seductionpower.com. Okay, so you guys want some tips. The male brain loves tips. Okay, so this channel mostly focuses on the difference in how men and women communicate because the female mating system is stimulated and literally directly triggered by the right brain language. Now, I'm going to give you a little idea of what that entails. This isn't the whole thing because that takes hours upon hours to explain, teach, and condition into you. So the difference between the female brain and the left male brain is the male brain is direct. We get to the point. This turns women off literally. So the male brain is the straightforward brain, meaning it gets to the point from point A to point B. It does have a higher purpose, by the way. It was designed back in the caveman era to feed your children instead of screwing around, playing grab ass, talking, on endless on end. You had to hunt, you had to march, you had to go down where the food was, you had to wait, like in a tree or somewhere and jump out of it. You had to wait for a deer to walk underneath it, and that could take hours, and then you had to kill it, and then jump out with a sharpened stick and kill it, and then you had to skin it and clean it out and then carry it home. So by that time 8 hours probably passed by, and it's probably 5 or 6 p.m. Now, unfortunately, that point A to point B thinking the funny thing is it's meant to be the shortest point between A and B, but usually it's the longest point, especially when it comes to life, work, society, and especially relationships, not just with women, but just people in general, any kind of relationship. See, when you really understand what the female mating system is looking for, which is what a woman is looking for, you are literally taking the shortcut. The problem is, it's not the male form of thinking, so your brain goes, this doesn't really make sense to me. And that's good because that means you're not gay. It means you're not wired like a woman. Which means you're actually wired quite healthy, very normal. So if this stuff does not make sense to you, then it actually makes sense. That's a good sign. So the right brain was designed to make food taste better, to make life enriching, okay? So it's about the 5 senses: see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. And remember, this right brain language triggers her mating system. So when see, this is the whole thing. You got to understand, like, very, very few men on the planet can do this. It's 1%, 3% maybe. Okay, I've got a way to prove it to you. Let me explain it first, and then I'm going to prove it. So the male language is very to the point, and every time I say this to women, whether it's in one of my courses, the Why Men Just Don't Get It for Women, or just casually talking to women, they roll their eyes like, yeah, tell me about it. This is my life story dealing with men. And here's what I'll tell women. It's what I'll say after that. I say, yeah, I go, you're lucky to get a whole complete sentence, if not just 2 words. And women go, oh God, men, like they just like, and women will say, yeah, you're lucky if you get 1 word. Now here's what you have to understand. The male visual cortex, which is in the back of your brain, the back of your head, I should say, the back of your skull. Yeah, the back of your brain too. It is more developed than the female visual processor, okay? So we had to develop it for hunting and fighting wars. So if we went hunting and Jim was, say, 40 yards to the right, I can go, hey Jim, the deer's over there. Well, what do you think the deer's going to do when we're hunting it? Yeah, it's going to hear your voice and be like, fuck this, I'm out of here, bye. So you're going to scare the animals away. So we learned really quickly, because we starve if we didn't learn, that if we yell out or even say, hey Jim, the deer's over there, well, the deer's going to hear you and it's going to take off, okay? Now it's the same thing in war. You can't go, hey Jim, he's right in front of you, over to the... Well, now the enemy knows where you're at, and guess what? You get shot and you die. So men had to come up with a better way than yelling stuff out. So we began to really develop our visual cortex. So here's the deal. We can look at a man and he could nod his head and turn his head, and that literally speaks 10,000 words to us. And you're like, what do you mean? Have you ever heard the phrase, a picture says a thousand words? Sorry, a picture says 1,000 words. that's a male phrase. Because men, we do this so naturally we don't even know we're doing it. We are picking up 1,000 bits of information from him. His nod, the look in his face, the way he looks, the way he points. So we can look at a guy and be like, oh, he's trying to say there's someone over there. Boom, there's like 3 or 4 sentences right there. The female brain cannot pick up on this. This is really, really important. Most men are like, well, I don't understand. Why doesn't she understand? The right brain, it was developed when men were out hunting and women were cleaning and picking berries and picking berries and picking berries. And after a while, it got really, really boring. So what happened was women developed the right brain, especially the right brain communication center. It is really in detail and really in depth. So what happened was there's a whole bunch of berries out there. Well, a man goes, yeah, it's a berry. Singular focus, right? A woman is like, no, that's a blackberry. And yeah, this is a berry too. No, that's a raspberry. And he's like, what? I remember when I was a little boy, I'm like, what's the difference? Like, I literally could, like, what do you mean? Like, well, look, it's this one's darker, and this one's this, and this one's black, or looks black. And I was like, well, it's actually purple. Yeah, well, it kind of looks black. And so what happened was, women began to develop a very in-depth, detailed, descriptive, now this is the key word, descriptive language, and this is the key to triggering her mating system. So the right brain is very in-depth and very descriptive. I'm going to give you an example in a second. Now let's go to the male brain first. The male brain is literally the black or white brain. Sounds kind of boring. No flavors, no colors. Every Baskin Robbins has one flavor, vanilla, that's it. After eating vanilla for 10 years, you're going to get kind of bored. It's very boring. The left brain's very bland. When we cook food, we don't give a shit. We don't really care about flavors, and, we just cook. I remember, like, for years, up until recently, I didn't really add, like, salts and spices and peppers and, stuff. Now I do, because I'm older. Because after a while, eating the same boring steak with steak sauce, it gets boring. And guess what? The male language is boring to the female brain, and this is why women get bored with their husbands after a couple years. But how do men fix it? Oh, I'm going to buy stuff. I'm going to buy a new car. I'm going to buy a new house. This will never stimulate her mind. Stimulating a woman's mind is absolutely necessary. And here's the thing. It doesn't cost you a dime. After you take the course, once you learn it, you'll never have to spend a dime on it. And she'll be really, really happy. And you won't have to keep buying her stuff only for 3 to 4 weeks later. She's pissed off again. You're like, oh my God, I saved up all that money. I worked a year to buy her that, house or that new car, or new diamond ring. Like, what does she want? All women want is more. They want more descriptive language. Now, let me get into it in a second. Now, you know how I said a picture says 1,000 words, and that's a male phrase? We can look at a picture and we get 1,000 bits of information or 1,000 words from it. It communicates a lot to us compared to a woman, because the female visual cortex is not as developed as ours is. So her visual processor doesn't pick that stuff up. So in order to communicate to a woman, you have to verbally say 1,000 words to describe what you're going through. Now, it's not realistically 1,000 words, but you do have to use more than just one word. Like, for example, so let's say you went to Hawaii and had a great vacation. You come home, she's like, well, how was it, honey? You're like, oh, it was awesome. And she's like, well, how was it? And you're looking like, oh, it was awesome. It really was. It was great. It was awesome. It was amazing. And she kind of waits a minute or two, and she goes, well, are you going to tell me how it was? And you kind of get confused, and you're looking at her like, well, I just told you. Now, if you had any men or any boys in the room, they'd look at you and they'd pick up all the information from your body language and the way your visual expression, but she's getting zero. And I mean zero. And this is something that men don't understand. They will scream at their wives going, I just effing told you 3 times. What do you want? So I was teaching this to a cop, and he didn't come in as a cop. He was plain, he was dressed normal. But what happened was, he goes, you know the hospital, Queen of the Valley in Napa? I'm like, yeah. And I go, yeah. I go, I was born there. What about it? He goes, well, you know how you go in this entrance and then you go down the hallway to the right? I'm like, yeah. He goes, you know how you go all the way down and you can go to the left? I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. He goes, well, we were there, me and my partner, female partner. I'm like, okay. They were police officers. They're on the job. They were called to a guy. I think he had a gun or something. Yeah, he had a gun. And what happened was a cop was already there. He was around the corner. So he was down the hallway a little bit, and he was hiding behind one of those things that carry the trays, right? So the thing was like 6 feet high or something. He was hiding behind it, and he's looking back at the two cops at the corner, my client and then his female partner, and he's like trying to look at him like, where is he? Like he didn't say, but like, where is he was the expression. And he goes, I kept trying to say he was down this way, and then I kept doing two things. And he was showing me with his hand, 1, 2. He was moving his hand forward, and then he'd move a motion to the right. And he was like, what? And he's like, dun, dun, dun. He tried to explain it with his body language again. And finally, the female cop goes, oh, for crying out loud, he's right in front of you, two bins down, and he's hiding behind the bin. And they're like, oh, shit. Because the guy didn't even know they were there. So she just literally gave their position away. And now that guy who's down the hallway, he's in danger now because the guy has a gun. And he said, I looked at her like, what the fuck are you doing? And she goes, and she had this incredulous look on her face like, what's the big deal? Like she couldn't make the connection. And I said, I bet she got her ass ripped open by the chief. She goes, oh yeah, the chief yelled at her up and down, said, don't you ever, ever, ever give away your position like that again. And I said she was probably quiet and sullen for a while, and I bet eventually she said, I don't understand why that was such a big deal. He goes, yeah. He goes, she still didn't understand it. Now here's why. The female brain needs 1,000 words to paint the picture. With men, it's the other way around. We see the painted picture, we got 1,000 words. We got all the description we need. All we need is a yes or a no. And I'll give you an example. So we just need one thing to confirm it. Now here's the way it works with men. So let's say you're sitting in the living room, and let's say you're a teenage boy. It could be buddies, whatever. But you're sitting in the living room, and Dad comes home. And you look down, you look through the kitchen, Dad comes in the front door, and you see him, and you look at his body language. Now we can read him. We can sense, is he in a good mood? Is he in a bad mood? Is he about to blow his shit? Is he pissed off? He's like, don't fuck with me right now. I'm not in the fucking mood. Like, we can read that. Women can't. All we need is a yes or a no. It's like, hey, how are you doing today? Are you in a good mood? Yeah, I'm in a good mood. Boom. What he said matches with what we feel inside. See, here's the thing. We actually get an emotional feeling, like how is he feeling? We literally get a sense of how he feels. We just want it confirmed with a yes or a no. That's all we need. Literally one word. A woman needs you to describe how you feel. And you're like, well, what do you mean? All right. So the right brain's the descriptive language. Now here's what I mean. It's really simple. We learned this in English class from probably 2nd grade, 3rd grade on, and we hated it. And it actually intimidated us. It's 2 words. Adjectives and adjectives. That's it. Done. You will blow women away when you use 3 adjectives in a sentence, and I am not fucking kidding. They're going to look at you and go, wait, what's going on here? Did the Matrix just fall apart? Because men don't do that. Husband comes home. Wife says, hi, honey. How was your day? Oh, it was good. It was pretty good. And he's like, what's for dinner? And she's like, well, are you going to tell me how your day was? He goes, yeah, I just told you. I had a good day. I really did. So what happened? Did you get a raise? Did you get fired? Because believe it or not, for some people, they hate their job so much, if they got fired, they would love it because then they get a certain amount of money until they can get another job. Okay? So you don't actually know what does that mean, or why was it good? Like, what about it was good? All right, let me make it even simpler than that. Okay, this is how I teach in the course, okay? So let's say you got a brand new truck and you come home, oh babe, I just bought a brand new truck. It's awesome. You think awesome is a descriptive word. It's not. You can't see awesome, you can't hear awesome, you can't feel awesome, you can't taste awesome, can't smell awesome. It's got to be descriptive in the 5 senses. So here's how a woman would say, yeah, now listen closely. He got a big, bright, shiny, orangish red 4x4 pickup truck. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 descriptive words or phrases to the truck. So the word is truck. Well, he did say new. So new can be considered, but she's like, well, new what? Like, how is it new? So it's kind of a very still vague and abstract. Like, well, what do you mean new? So let's say that we'll count that as 1, okay? And that's what women will say, like, yeah, you're lucky if you get 1 word. And this is what women mean, like literally, like, well, you said you had awesome vacation, but what does that mean? You're not describing it. See, if you don't describe it, you've got to put words on the canvas to paint the picture, because you're building the picture with your descriptive language. An adjective describes a noun. Truck, that's a noun. Well, what kind of truck? Big truck. The word big describes a truck. The truck is the noun, okay? So then you say big, bright, red, shiny, 4x4. All of those things describe the noun, describe the truck. Go buy a romance novel and read it and notice. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know this, in bookstores, guess what outsells all the other categories? Romance novels. That one section, that one category outsells all the other categories combined in every bookstore in the United States and across the world. That's how much women love romance novels. By the way, romance novels are sexually turning women on. But when you read it, you're like, I don't get it. This is boring. It's describing things in a hidden way, and that's not part of today's video. So instead of doing a romance novel, I'm going to do something much simpler. So I've got a Cosmopolitan, a woman's magazine, actually 2 of them right here. So I'm going to flip to the back. Oh, there we are with Rihanna. It's got an image of her with this lip gloss. Now listen to the words. Now she's got a glossy strawberry that looks wet. Her lips look wet. She's perfectly smooth. These are all descriptive visual adjectives and adverbs. So now listen to the words. Spritz, splash. Introducing wet slicks. These are all descriptive adjectives and adverbs. Fruit spritzers, not just fruit, but fruit spritzers. Spritzers describes fruit. Squeeze, there's another one. On a burst, there's another one. A fruity shine, there's 2 more. Without all that sticky. By the way, this is talking about orgasm, by the way. And then it says get a splash, there's another one. Of sheer, there's another one. Shiny, there's another one. Color. And a burst, there's another one. Of juicy, there's another one. Fruit, there's another one. Flavor. Do you get it? Burst of juicy fruit flavor. Juicy fruit describes the flavor. Burst also describes what happens. That's an adverb. So let's see. Then we got without all that sticky, there's another one. Feeling. Now that's another important key because it's all about giving her feelings. Okay, let's keep going. By the way, we're only on the 3rd sentence here. Sticky feeling. And then it says in how many? 12. That describes how many. And then it says refreshing. There's another one. That's another descriptive word. And then it says fruit. Fruit what? Fruit flavors. There's another descriptive word. Like papaya. It's not papaya like papaya. It's papaya splash. So papaya describes the refreshing fruit flavors. And then the splash describes the papaya. And then it says and strawberry splash. Both of those are descriptive words. Now, there was a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's probably about 30 words in there, and 80% of them were descriptive words. This is how you sell to women because it turns them on. You can almost taste the flavor. You can almost feel the burst of juicy flavor squirting in your face or squirting in your mouth. And it's describing a lip gloss that you put on your lips. This is all very sensual, but in order to be sensual, you have to describe the emotions and the feelings. Now, here's why. Now, listen to this. In fact, I want you to write this down. Ready? In order for a woman to understand you, she has to have an emotional experience of what you're saying. Okay, I don't mean she has to burst out in tears and cry and get dramatic. That's not what I said. And that's what men hear when women say, oh, we want men to be more emotionally available. She doesn't mean cry at the movies. She doesn't mean cry like a baby thing. She means communicate in the right brain, five senses, emotional, creative, descriptive language. That's what she means. Because otherwise, she can't effing understand a word you're saying. Literally, women have told me, like, I just learned to smile and nod my head and I'm like, well, what do you do? She goes, well, I can't understand my husband. I go, so what do you do? She goes, I learned to smile and go, and nod my head, and that's it. And I walk away going, I have no idea what he just said. Guys, you think I'm joking? I am not joking. Women don't understand men because men don't communicate in a way that she can understand you. You think I'm joking? I'm not. Here's another way of saying in order for her to understand your communication, she has to have an emotional experience of what you're saying. In order for a woman to understand you, she has to feel what you're saying. So if you said I had a great day, what does great feel like? I have no fucking idea. Is it warm? Is it smooth? Is it soft? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it sharp? Is it spiky? Is it heavy? Is it light? Notice how all those are descriptions of feelings, shapes, and sizes. So it's visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory, which means smell and taste. Kinesthetic means feel. So instead of saying it tastes great, that's zero description. Taste great. What tastes great? How does it taste? What do you mean? There's zero description in that. So you're thinking like, yeah, I'm happy because she made me food and I want to let her know so she can feel good about it. Oh man, the food tastes great. And she's like, and she's going 1001, 1002. Oh, you are so full of shit, you motherfucker. You keep pulling that bullshit on me. When you leave women with an empty slate, it's going to piss her it's like you're fucking with her. It's like you're playing mind games. You ever heard the phrase, all is fair in love and war? This is literally where the battle starts. Women think you're fucking with them. They think you're fucking with their mind. They think, oh, he's going to be a dick? Oh, okay. I can be a dick fucking just as bad. You watch, motherfucker. Here we go. And they feel totally justified because in their world, their brain's like, well, why won't he tell me? You start off, oh, it's delicious. And then you don't describe it. And then she gets pissed, she gets angry, and look at the guy in this image, and that's what you end up like. You feel powerless. Think of it like this. Say 3 to 5 descriptive words. Okay, let's say truck. Right now, just think of 3 descriptive words. Well, it's a 4x4. There's one. It's a Toyota. There's another. It's big. There's another one. See, you can describe it. It's bright, it's red, it's shiny, it's got chrome rims. See, now you're describing it. Another way of looking at it is she can't see the picture if you don't describe it. You've got to paint the picture for her. It doesn't have to be perfect, by the way. Now here's the weird thing. So if 2 guys are sitting on the couch in the living room, the dad comes home and says, I had a great day. They understand it. They can see it in his expression. She can't. And this is why women want to go to therapy. And they're like, my husband won't communicate to me. And he's looking at her like, what? We talk every day. What are you talking about? She doesn't mean you're mute. She what she does though, because she's just looking at you like, well, why won't he talk to me? He said he had a great day, but he wouldn't break it down. Now here's the deal. A lot of husbands will scream like, why do you want the fucking details? And I lean my head into the room, say, yes, she literally needs the details in order to understand what the hell great day means. Guys, I'm not joking. She can't understand great day. You came home from Hawaii, had an awesome vacation. The fishing was amazing. What is amazing? What's amazing? Like, did you get torpedoed by an old World War II Japanese submarine that sank your freaking battleship? What was amazing about it? Well, my best friend died and I hated the guy. Or my best friend died and he had a life insurance policy and I got it. That could be great. Now, if you told her that, she'd be like, oh, okay. Because getting torpedoed by a Japanese World War II submarine, it sounds bad. But you're saying, yeah, but I got like $1.5 million out of it. Oh, okay, I understand now why that would be a great day. But this is what men do routinely to women all the time. They literally don't describe shit. And you do have a reason. It's there, but you never describe it. And therefore, she's got a blank slate. Whenever you leave a woman with a blank slate, okay, watch this. The reason why women think men lie is because you never describe things. So she listens to her words and she looks at the canvas where the artist is supposed to paint the picture, and there's nothing there, and she's looking at you and she's like, oh, what is he hiding? Did he sleep with someone in Hawaii when he was on vacation? Why wouldn't he tell me how his day was? Oh, I bet he's fucking the secretary and he doesn't want to tell me. Because when you don't describe things in their brain, see, in the female world, if you don't describe it, well, why won't you tell me? What are you hiding? This is why women think you guys are lying all the time, even when you're not. Here's the worst part about it. Even when you tell the truth, if you don't say it in the right brain language, she's automatically going to think you're lying. Here's the deal. Even if there is no truth, right or wrong, you're just trying to say, hey, I had a great day at work. She's like, well, why won't he tell me? Women, it's a default. It's because there's nothing on the canvas. So if there's nothing on the canvas, what's he hiding? Here's the silly part about it, and I do it all the time. I used to do it with my ex-girlfriend all the time. I would just describe the stupid thing. Well, it's a red, orange, pinkish kind of color, and it has like a rich, creamy sherbet flavor to it. And she knows I'm goofing around, but her fucking right brain goes, thank you! Fuck! Now here's the deal though, she's like, well, how was your day? And he's like, well, it was just an orange sherbet strawberry sunshine, just shining down on me, this orange sweet sherbet flavor, not any kind of sherbet, it's like an orange rich creamy flavor of sunshiny delight. Here's the funny thing, am I saying anything? No, I'm just being a dumbass. But she's gonna fucking hug me. She's gonna be like, thank you so much, my fucking brain needs some colors on the canvas. Now, a lot of guys get intimidated by just this really simple teaching adjectives and adverbs. By the way, this isn't the full complete teaching. There's more to it, and I will make it so simple. You will never be afraid of describing things ever again in your life. Now, here's the really interesting. The left brain. Now, I bet a lot of you guys, well, yeah, but what's the right way to do it, Mike? I mean, I don't understand. Here's the really interesting thing. You're coming from the either or brain. The left brain is always thinking A or B. Which one is right? Is A right or B? Which is the right or wrong thing to say? It doesn't matter. Now, this is the really weird. It's not about right or wrong. This is where the male brain gets really lost. Like, what do you mean? That's how you communicate, Mike? No. Because you're thinking, well, Mike, how do I do this? Here's what you're going to find. When you take the course, you're going to be like, shit, so it's not right or wrong. It's just describing stuff. Yeah, that's all it is. You do that, you will literally satisfy her, and she's going to want to hug you. She's going to kiss you. She'll cook. She'll clean. She will be thrilled through the fucking roof, and you didn't spend a dime. Kind of interesting, huh? Now, in my 20s, my girlfriend used to attend these seminars. There are these workshops that I would do with guys. And when I would do this, she knew what I was doing, and she knew I was being goofy, but it didn't matter. Okay, here's the last thing I want to say. So it didn't matter because it just made it satisfied the right brain. Guys, you got to understand, it's almost like, imagine talking to someone who just won't talk to you. It's like, it'll drive you nuts. So when a guy talks in this way, it's like you're talking to her for the first time. And I am telling you, she will call her best friend, her second best friend, her third best friend, her coworker at work, her mom, her aunties, her sisters. And they're like, no, honey, I know you're being delusional, sweetie. Men don't. They're like, no, mom, I'm telling you, he's doing it. They will be proud of you. They will show you off. And guess what? Now, this is a shocker. You're going to get laid. A lot. No pickup lines. You didn't have to spend $200 on dinner. You didn't have to buy her $80 worth of long stem roses. You didn't have to buy her a new car, a new diamond ring. You didn't have to do none of that stuff, man. I will save the average man at least $250,000 to $500,000 in his marriage life, and I'm not kidding. Your divorce alone is going to cost about $50,000 to $100,000, not to mention the house, the car, the kids, alimony, and on. I'm telling you, rich men, I save them millions. Here's the deal. You're pissed off. You think women are this and that. When what it really is, the sad part is, like, you do love her. You're trying to express yourself. You're communicating, but you're doing it in the male way. But in her brain takes it's like, oh, he just doesn't care about me. And that's not true. You do care about her, but you have to do it in the right brain way. Otherwise, she can't receive it. Are you starting to understand the picture that I'm painting here? This is going to save you a ton of headaches and arguments and fights. And she's going to reward you greatly. If you like this video, click subscribe, click the like button, make a comment, and go to my website at seductionpower.com and buy my book, Crack the Female Code. Better yet, buy the ultimate package. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.